Gaia movie. The story of the film begins, one of the scary South African forests. What are terrifying and very dangerous forests? Meet the forest protection officer. The one whose name is Cappy, and we will see her and her colleague whose name is Winston, and they were riding in a boat and roaming a river in the woods. They're looking for one of the lost drones. On the other side, we see the plane roaming the forest. But suddenly a strange man stops her. And this moment is right around the corner. Watching the camera, she asks Winston to take her down on Maud, and she goes and looks for herself. But Winston tells her, most people disappear in this dangerous place. Just ignore his words and go down to the forest. At the same time, we see the same person, who stopped the camera. He was walking on the back of the camera, and he is a boy, and their shapes are strange, like bushmen covered in black mud. And then they set traps. Forest. Suddenly they go to a strange place. They wore skin masks on their faces, and they were picking mushrooms. The poisonous one who emits toxic vibrations that spread in the atmosphere terribly. On the other hand, Bea meet roaming inside the woods looking for a drone. Or she was trying to talk Winston through the radio. But the surprise is when Winston is what's on the boat. And in the moment, you can hear strange sounds. She's trying to run away. And the shock is falling into one of the traps set by terrifying people. He enters the sharp torso with her foot. And when you try to pull the torso, you scream very loudly. He hears it. Where is the son who is inside the forest on a suitable mode? One of the surveillance cameras, or when he returns quickly to the boat. The radio drops with water or disconnects their data. And at this time, Gabby is emboldened, pulling the torso planted with her foot and screaming. Very loud. And Hannah passes. They have time, and the sun sets, and we see Winston looking for Gabby. Whoever is at this time is coming to follow. Weird red force pulled by old hut. So she went and knocked on the door of the hut, hoping that someone would come out and help her. What is the problem with her? But she discovers that this hut is deserted and empty, and she enters and lies inside it. On the other hand, we see Anston stuck in a swamp. And when he comes out of it, hear the same weird sounds. The one who met me heard them, is afraid and tries to run away quickly. And Hannah, we see the two people who are... They enter the hut and are shocked by those who see me in front of them. She's sleeping on the ground. One of them attacks her quickly. But you just tell him that I am a monster who will follow me. This man answers her and says to her, you ruined the trap, or... Then they treat a wound around and bring her food. And we know that the trap was a monster, who is present in this place and threatens all the people present. The first person is Barnd. And the one with him is his son Stefan, the one who has few words because he is living and his father, alone inside this terrifying forest. And in the second scene, we see Winston running in the forest and terrified from a strange beast. And whoever is a broken human being, and he is misshapen, poisonous mushrooms, and we will know what is misshapen, poisonous mushrooms. On the other hand, Barty makes a very strange herbal mixture on the feet of Gabby while she is sleeping, and he completes his son Stefan. And at the same time, we know that it seemed she has nightmares, and you see that the poisonous mushrooms seem to grow on her hands. And then she wakes up and immediately goes to the radio and tries to talk Winston. And the shock is the one who hears his voice screaming, and his jams are the sound of the beast. You quickly go and start a fire inside the chimney. But suddenly you discover it's something underground, and when you remove wood, see the picture of the structure. And this structure is young, hiding it underground. Hannah Barn is in the woods. When he sees smoke, he comes quickly to the hut and puts out the fire. And through their words, we know. He met the flame until Winston saw it, but Barnd, he refuses to start a fire. And he promised her that he would take her on the second day of the place she came from. And at night we see Barnd, and the treatment is KB, who asks about their lives, trying to understand why they're in the woods. Or what is this sound that you hear every time? Barnd tells her, I'm a botanist and my wife was a chemical engineer. But one day she got bone cancer, or before she didn't die. I asked me to come to this place, the one we spent our honeymoon in. And when you ask Gabo and say, why did you stay here? He answers her and tells her, because I met God. He seemed to sell her foot, the one who was suddenly healed and came back like before. On the other hand, we see Winston in the woods. He has a fungus on his body, and his eyes are completely black. Or at night meet while she is sleeping. Baron keeps his hand on her mouth. She is terrified and shocked to see Stefan holding the arrow positions. He is watching the same sound they hear in the forest. And Hannah Barandi takes his hand away from Cappy's mouth. And he says to her, don't scream and go to the wall. And if the beast ever enters, do not make any sound. Because it is blind, so quickly it clears black clay on its body. Like what they do Barnd and his son. But suddenly the broken beast enters them. And when everyone enters calm, because the beast is blind and it only follows the sound and begins to advance on Gabby. The reason for the sound that came out of it, and when Stefan kills the beast from behind. Tainted monster blood falls on my gape. It becomes infected, so quickly the two swords come and wipe the blood from it. And now we move to another scene. And we see Barnd who says Alkabi is this poisonous mushroom. Prefer modern man? It feeds on the mouth, eyes, and lungs. He's taking over, man. Gradually to the extent of what he can turn into a broken beast. And now we know why it's called the poisonous mushroom monster. We know from the rest. It's Barnd, he thinks it's poison mushrooms. Humans are just parasites on Earth. The second day we see Cappy sitting next to Stefan and taking a picture with him. Because Stefan is isolated from the world. He is surprised by the shape of the phone, and while he turns with pictures of Cappy, he says a monster while Yasher on the car. So quickly Barnd comes and takes the phone and breaks it and says Alkabi. Get the demons away from us. And we know he's Barnd, his son's breeder, far from humans and technology. And it keeps him from mixing with people. And then Stefan's son Barando goes into the middle of the forest. He begins to worship the tree. What is a strong source? He broke the poison, feeding the fungus from the blood he took from the mutant beast. Or take it from the mushroom and eat it from it, or give it to his son as well. Or then he comes back to my meeting, and he tells her the time has come to bring you back. But by moment, Stephen is angry with his father, so she hugs him. Or do we know that Stephen seemed to love her and became a fan of her? But because of isolation from people, he knows how to express his feelings, and when Barnd takes Gabby until he returns it. Suddenly, she discovers a Winston lamp on the ground, and she looks for Winston. Until she sees him thrown to the ground, and breakfast is spread in his body in shock when he is living. And he asks her to kill him and get rid of the torment that he is in because the mushrooms seem to eat slowly, so Baron presented the arrow. Winston mouth, and gives Winston the opportunity to kill himself and get rid of the torment. And at the moment they hear the sounds of monsters, they run away quickly. Go back to the hut and hide. And at night she wakes up from her sleep. Because of mushrooms on her body. Also, her condition seemed to worsen more and more. She asks Barnd to give her medicine because he knows him. But Barnd is upset with her and leaves her and goes. And Hannah meets Stephen and say, Where's your father, Barnd? He tells her he is going to pray, and when you ask him and your mother says where, he answers her and tells her that she lives in the forest. On the other side, we see Barnd worshipping. But suddenly it becomes a strange situation inside the breakfast tree. A painter. He returns to the cabin immediately and quickly. And it's like something dangerous has become. When the second day of the morning comes, we will see Cabby. And her condition worsened, and breakfast seemed to spread terribly in her body. No, but suddenly Stefan enters her or leaves her with mushrooms, and when she eats it, the disease in her body gradually begins to disappear. Or do we know that this is the mushroom they eat from the tree? It's anti-toxic. Who turned humans into a complete monster? What's strange about it is Barnd. He asks her to come with him on a mod and return her to the place she came from. But she refuses and says, I want to stay here. I want to be isolated from the outside world. As for him, we see Stephen as he began to teach her to shoot. And he took it to the tree in which his father worships. We know his mother is buried here. And when they return to the cabin, Cappy begins to ask Barnd, and he seems to be angry. Or we know from their words that it's Barnd. He believes that humans will destroy the planet. And this mushroom is on a mode that treats the planet and the one who is a divine cosmic force. Or a person must surrender to the fungus. On mod, the Earth will return to unite again, free from human disasters. And when he met me, she asked him to prove his words to her. Barandi makes her participate in the ritual, and he seemed to blow mushroom spores with Cobby's face. On the mod to see the truth that he believes in. And when you inhale it, she faints and enters a hallucination and hisses to see the mushrooms surrounded by her. And strange scenes also happen to her. Stefan has a spear inside his mouth. And the second day, Cappy wakes up, and we see Barando sitting next to her asking her. He tells him what she saw. In this moment, Gabi knows that Barnd used his wife as an offering. Stefan is the second victim. On the second day, Gabi is playing Estefan. She tells him we have to run away. She seemed to tell him the truth. At night, Barty wakes up and goes quickly to Maud worships Fakabi. She was conscious and she woke up Stefan and took him on mode to run away. And when the day comes and Barnd meets them in the forest, he starts convincing his son and says, hey, she will sell you as a slave or she will exploit you. Somehow your flesh falls off your bone. Or after Barnd was able to convince his son to let him come back with him. Or now we see them heading to the forest. Or when Stefan asks his father and says, where are we going? Barnd, who was holding his hand, Fez answers and says, We are going to sacrifice, and in the moment, come back to the hut or take the shooting tools and follow them. But by this time, we know it's Barnd. He decided to kill his son as an offering for poisonous breakfast, because he used to settle this thing. On the other hand, it's Gabby, confronting him, O broken beast. At the same moment, Barnd is restraining his son on Maud, killing him and offering him an offering. But Cappy's voice stops him, who is coming to Maud to save him. And when Barnd goes to kill Cappy, Stefan rises, and his father wrestles with the broken beast who is coming again. And good moment, Barndy. He takes advantage of the opportunity, or pulls a rhyme on a Maud that he presents as an offering. He replaced his son, but the shock is when Stefan stabs his father with the knife. Or leave him in the woods and go back to the hut. My disease worsens and her body begins to rot. Despite this, Stefan did not leave her and stayed with her for the last moment, until she asked him for mercy or to kill herself, and rid herself of torment. And at the moment we will see Stefan, he went to the city. Alamud mixes with people and keeps pace. Evolution and technology, and I think he'll live a normal, quiet life like his peers. But once he's what he eats and lets eat, mushrooms appeared on the leftovers, we know he's also infected. It's him and he's going to die. The condition of previous people, those who died with this malicious mushroom, and let's be... End of film.